Here's my safety tip for the day. Don't text and drive. So while you're cruising down the highway, pay attention. Don't hit that guy in front of you. Because not only will it ruin your day, it'll also ruin someone else's. This is one of our plow trucks, and we had a trailer on the back. Some guy came in, hit the trailer, pushed the trailer right up into here before it ripped off and went flying away, almost pretty much with the car inside of it. So here we are, we're gonna fix it. Today we're gonna go through and just tear things apart. Normally we do this with a tool review video, but we have some new tools here. We're going to use them and then follow that up and just talk about the tools in another video. This is just gonna be kind of a tear down and exploration of what the heck is really wrong with this truck. I don't think it's as bad as it looks, but I'm gonna invite you to come along with me and check it out. So let's get to it. So the good news here is this is a 2014, so it's a steel body, not aluminum. That's gonna make it so we can bend this back a little bit easier, although this tailgate's FUBAR. We are gonna try to bend it back just to use it because parts are super expensive these days till we can get a new tailgate. There's not a whole heck of a lot else that went wrong that we can see other than a big dent in the box. I think we can pull that out too. Surprisingly, while the tailgate's not perfect, it still opens. I was really surprised with that by a long shot. I didn't expect, especially with that handle that was pushed in, for anything really to work. The further we get into it, probably the worse it's gonna be. I know the tire was pushed up. We have the bumper major frame in the bottom that's physically holding the spare tire forward against the pumpkin. And then we have this mess here, which this isn't too bad. It did crinkle things under the bed a little bit, but I think we can pull that back pretty easy. Let's just start tearing some of this stuff off. This really doesn't make it look any better, but the good news is nothing happened to the hitch. We knew that before, but realistically, this just pushed our big bracket that we have here. This is barely held on anymore, right up into the frame underneath. Not a big deal. The good news is by the time everything hit here, it was kind of already floating over to the side. So nothing really happened to any of this stuff. This is just a simple bumper bracket. We're gonna replace this with a Rough Country bumper. It'll make this a lot easier because this is bent over here and there's no sense in playing with this. By the time you found either this in the junkyard or bought all these little parts and pieces, it'd be more expensive than an aftermarket bumper. I'm kind of trying to do this on the cheap. All we gotta do here is remove these two sets of bolts and then try to wiggle this guy out. If anybody needs this for spare parts, it's free. These are both tweaked and I don't believe our Rough Country bumper is gonna need them. So for now, we're gonna pull them out because we'll have to put them in the hydraulic press if we need to straighten them out anyway. So we can see here, this spare tire kind of came up and nicked this pumpkin, enough to leave some marks as it was kind of coming forward. This here is not in the center. Also looks like it might have stretched that cable a little bit, but good news, nothing else is bent. Maybe hit a little bit back here on this guard, but life's pretty good. About the worst damage that happened when the trailer came up is it hit right up in here and bent this frame. You can see this piece would normally sit flat down on the tire, so it's up. The good news is we still have enough room in here to pull our bed back down and not have to mess with this frame piece. This is going to take a little bit more work to move than sheet metal would. Problem is, here's where our spare tire access point is, and there's something jammed up in here, so we're going to have to trim this tube back so we can get stuff in there to pull whatever is jammed in there out. So the tube wasn't helping. The easy way is just to elongate the hole so that when you are on the side of the road and you do have to get at that spare tire, that you have a way to do it that's not going to be disturbing, that you're not cussing sitting there on the ground. So the easiest way was just to get out the die grinder and elongate that hole. There's just not enough room in there to really get an angle grinder in. So that's it. Elongate the hole so you can get everything in there and go at it. Now the spare tire is set and tight again. That's good, so we can move on to something else. So at this point, tire secure, we're kind of set. Get new tires on this later, but I'm interested in how this is going to pull out slightly. So I'm just going to go at it a little bit before I get too deep into anything and have to take this down to the tire shop. It's moving. So if you're not cringing while you're watching this, well, let's just say that this is definitely not something that I would recommend anyone try. And we're just trying to be as safe as we can at it while still going at getting enough pressure to pull things back. And realistically, what I don't want to do is have anything snap or break apart. So I'm trying to just let the slow force and a little bit of hammering move everything around. And once we got things sort of tweaked back right, we just started playing with it. And here's where you could spend a ton of time just trying to get everything straight so you didn't have any wrinkles or dents. But there's a tube that runs along the top of this section that we can't get into. So to ever get that straight again is going to be darn near impossible. And the good news is this is good enough because we're probably never going to be able to fit a tailgate on this truck. There's a possibility that we could, but there's also a possibility that we have bent or moved some of this or tweaked some things together. Anything could happen. So there's a small chance. And realistically, what we're going to do is put a bumper. And we have this bumper sitting down here. This is a Rough Country bumper. Basically because we needed so many parts. Everything that came out was bent in some way, and if we're going to go with that, it comes with all the new parts and pieces, and it was actually less expensive to buy that bumper than it would have been to buy a stock bumper in all the original parts. So unfortunately, the Rough Country bumper didn't come with everything that we needed to put it on for whatever reason. Thank you, Rough Country, for overnighting the parts, so we'll have that tomorrow. We'll hit this weekend, get this bumper on. But in the meantime, we have an appointment to get new tires on this truck. So we're out of here. I appreciate you guys watching. We're going to do more with that impact wrench you've seen because that is going to be a first for anyone to see. That's a guarantee. That one is not coming out for about 6 more months, but we've had that in the shop, testing it out and working with it, and it's kind of cool. So we'll do a dedicated video on that one. It's kind of been fun. I'm happy to see it at least come out this well, and once we're completely done, the truck will look good again, and that's all we need. It's just a plow truck, guys, just a plow truck. Thanks for your time, guys. Have a great day.